Hi, everyone. I'm Simone Simpson from Wondering Yoga Cafe Entertainment, and I want to welcome you to our 30-day, one meal a day challenge. Today is day 18. How do you feel? I am feeling really good. I feel strong. I am able to pivot when I'm feeling hungry and it's out of my window. And usually it's not even hunger, it's a habit of something, a feeling that instead of addressing how I'm feeling, I'm staying the same. That's a picture I got when I was in Thailand. The elephants painted it. So I wanted to talk to you about how you're feeling. One word, leave it in the comments how you are feeling, your dominant feeling for day 18 of this one meal a day challenge. If you happened upon this video and you're on day one, there is a day one video. So definitely go to that. You will have company and support during your challenge, regardless of how many days you're doing it. We're doing a 30-day and then a 3-day water fast and then another 30-day. And so we're doing rolling 30 days. So glad to have you here. And day 18, this is becoming normal. And that's what I really enjoy about this is it's just how I eat now. Today it was at about 11 o'clock. I really was ready to eat. I was like, I really want to have something, but I didn't. I continued working. So it's just, and it wasn't really hungry. I don't know, I just kind of wanted to eat. It was all that was going on. So I was able to work through that. So I want to know, that's why one reason I like to know how you're feeling. I like to have you write it in the comments because I want to know, let's support each other. Let's cheer each other on during this one meal a day. And one meal a day is technically when you eat your calories only within a 1 to 2 hour window. And so I just wanted to clarify that. The warrior diet is 4 hours or less. We are giving ourselves a little bit of leeway this first 30 days. So 4 hours or less for some, but right now we should all be figuring out how much food we need to keep us satisfied and without cravings until the next day. And it's important to pay attention to what we're eating as well. That can affect how you're feeling, not just hunger, but how you're feeling overall. So that's super important. As far as the quote for today, this is a good one. The quote for today: as you start to walk on the way appears. As you start to walk on the way appears. And I really like that quote. I bought a refrigerator magnet years ago, and the quote on there was it was a Zen quote. The quote was "Leap and the net will appear." And I just thought, wow. And I just had this picture of someone leaping off of a mountain and the net appearing, because at the time I was just, and I still am, just such a perfectionist. I always wanted everything to be super perfect before starting anything. And when you're like that, you can end up not really starting anything because nothing is ever perfect. So I really got over that when I moved to Spain. I wrote this list, and it was 2.5 pages of a to-do list. And I said, once I check off everything, once I've done everything, then I'm ready to get my house in Spain. So I would look at that every day and go, okay, let me do 3 a week, or I don't know, I just had some whatever plan. And then I neatly placed it on a shelf, and that's where it stayed. One day I was working and I just had the strongest urge. It was just like, go online right now, find a place. And I did. The first place I found was exactly what I wanted. And I thought, but certainly can't be this easy. Like, what if there's other places that are better? And so I looked and looked over the next 10 minutes, nothing was. There were some that I really liked, but I didn't like the view, things like that. So anyway, I ended up getting the first place that I saw. So that's how, so I had my house first, then I backtracked, and then I knew exactly what to do. It just came to me. I just knew exactly what needed to be done. So that whole to-do list, I don't even know where it is. I never checked the stuff off. I probably didn't even do all of the stuff. I don't know, but that's what I thought of when I was working on today's quote, as you start to walk on the way appears. As I started, and that was really my first action step, was, okay, now I have a place to live. And then the way appeared. Then it was like, okay, now you need to do this and do this and do this. And so each step along the way came. I ended up hiring a personal assistant to manage my affairs in Vegas. And it just, each step just came along the way. So as you start to walk on the way appears. And you might want to build your own business and you're wondering what to do next. Just get started. Get started with an idea, with a video. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. You will learn every day what you need to tweak. Oh, let me add this. Let me take this away. Let me review this film and make some adjustments. You will know exactly what to do, and it will come. Just get started. So I really, really like that quote for today. If you're wanting to become a best-selling author and you're not sure what to do, what you're doing might be writing poetry every day. It might be starting that book, just starting it. Those little thoughts that pop in, those next action steps, do that. Do that. So that is our quote for today. And that's a really endearing quote for me. That's what happened to me when I moved to Miami as well. Miami Beach, actually. It's not the city of Miami. Miami Beach is totally different. So I love them both, actually. But a lot of people, when I say I live on Miami Beach, they think I live in Miami on the beach. Miami Beach is an island. It's different. It's not it has its own city, its own mayor, all of that. So, but when I moved to Miami Beach, I literally just went to Miami Beach on vacation and never left. So that I moved that way. So that was another way of moving where I didn't have a plan to do it. And it just happened. And once I was there and I kept extending my vacation, I was like, well, now I need a place to live. Well, what's perfect? And I would go walking along the beach like, okay, where's the best place to live? And that was one hotel in Faena. They were just the most beautiful. So I was like, okay, those two. But it just kind of happened like that. So it wasn't this great plan. I didn't have a to-do list. I just went and never left. And then I needed a place to live. And when I was like, okay, because initially I was staying in an Airbnb, I think for a month and a half. And then after a certain point, I was like, okay, I live here. I have to have a house now. Where am I going to live? And so, well, it was a residence. I say house because I'm used to living in a house. I have a house in Vegas, but it was a residence. So that's what I found. And it was like, one day I just had the thought, it's going to take a lot of legwork to find where you want to live. And so I thought, okay. And I thought, well, that's odd because everything I know about creating and manifesting says it's not hard, but it was like, it's going to take a lot of legwork. So I was a little pressed for time, but I was like, I have to go on my morning walk. Went on my morning walk. And then I had the thought, oh, just count the buildings from this building until one hotel, see how many are in between. Then you can go on a map and then you can find available residences in all of those, look at the amenities, et cetera, et cetera. And as I was doing that, as I was walking on the boardwalk, that's the sidewalk in front of the ocean, and I kept looking at one hotel, which is it's the most luxurious hotel in all of Miami and Miami Beach. And so I kept looking at it and finally I was like, that's where I want to live. And so then I thought, the thought that came in that said it's going to take a lot of legwork didn't actually mean a lot of work. It meant legwork, walking, going on your walk. It came in like a riddle. So that was super fun. And I was like, oh my goodness, yes, that's where I want to live. That's the first place I walked to when I went on my first walk on the boardwalk. I literally walked right up to the gate, and it was like, had this really cute way of saying no trespassing. And I fell in love with it. I walked there every day because it was so beautiful. So from where my Airbnb was to where one hotel was, the Airbnb, there was a little path that you could go to the ocean, but I would walk all the way down to one hotel because it was so beautiful and so loved in that area. It just lit up for me. And so I would walk there every day. And I thought, wow, I didn't realize when I walked here the first day that this was going to be my home. So yeah. So as you start to walk on the way appears. It definitely does. Leap and the net will appear. If you're wanting ways to quiet your mind so that you can get those answers in, meditationrising.com, and there is a link below. There is a meditation in there that you get free access to. There are subscriptions in there as well that I highly suggest. It includes live guided weekly meditations, but you can put your email address in and get access, unlimited access to the morning meditation. That is a very powerful meditation. That's actually what I use to manifest my residence on Miami Beach. So I want to share that with you. A day in my life. Today I got up at 3 again to meditate. I didn't start meditating until 4, but I was up at 3 and I was like, wow, I'm awake. And so up at 3, meditated. It's like an hour and 33 minutes that I meditate. Then I started working. I start working at 6 while I'm in Vegas. So I started working. At 11 o'clock, take a break. No, not 11. It's like 9. Yeah, 9:30, 10. And I do a half hour of yoga. And so then that part is important because every day I had plans to do yoga, but I wasn't practicing yoga because during that half hour, I was making calls, like personal administrative calls, just things you need to do in your own life to keep things running, calling the cleaning lady, calling all of these things you have to do. So that's what I was doing during that half hour. And then 2 days ago, I said during that, I guess just yesterday I started. No, I started on Sunday. Yeah, 2 days ago, I said, during that I have to practice in the morning. And so Sunday, I didn't work on Sunday, so I practiced in the morning. And then yesterday was Monday. Today's Tuesday for me. I practiced. I take a half hour break in the mornings when I'm working, and I practice yoga. Then it's a 20-minute series that I put together, and there's a link below, so you can do that as well. It's all you need. We're intermittent fasting. We're doing this for our bodies. We've got our diet in check. Let's get our health routine in check. And so intermission is over. Intermission is over. Okay. I actually bought this shirt specifically with this in mind. I was like, intermission is over. When I start my daily activity, intermission is over. So intermission is over. So let's get started. And you know what comes after intermission? It's so great. You're in the show. This is our own show. It's your own life. So intermission is over. And yeah, so I've been practicing yoga every morning. It feels good. My body is loving me for it. My spine is loving me for it. It's just stretching and allowing space between the vertebrae. I can hear it pop, pop, popping while I'm practicing, just opening up. And that is what it is exactly supposed to do. So really glad to have that. And I ate today at about 1:15. This is what I ate. This was so good. And it really is mixing ingredients in a way that I typically don't do randomly on a Tuesday afternoon. So this was a harissa spice sweet potato tacos. So that's like a Moroccan dish. It is delicious. Middle Eastern and North African ingredients. That's what it says. For those who heard the name and were like, not Moroccan. Well, yeah, Morocco is North Africa. I got it right. So yeah, so that it was absolutely delicious. I was so happy eating it, and I did eat the tortillas. And I was saying as I was eating them, I was like, this is like a treat to me, because on the Wild Fit program, and then there is a link below to Snapback Body Wild, but I really removed tortillas, things like that, as a daily, weekly thing. It's a treat. It's a once in a while thing. So now that I'm eating it here, I'm just kind of figuring out what I'm eating while I'm waiting to get back on that program, the 90-day. You never really finish it, but you go into different seasons. And so when I ordered this, it was more specific to making this 1 meal a day program work for me. And so that took precedence. And I was like, I want this 1 meal a day program to work. I want to have variety, and I want to be satiated. So once I'm there, then I'm going to look at, what am I eating? Because I know it will be time to cut carbs at some point and really clean up in that way. But for now, I want variety. And they have keto programs here right now. I noticed today what was sent was vegan, and I was really happy. I was like, oh, wow, that's vegan. And the meal for tomorrow, I wonder if all of it is vegan that I ordered. This one is gluten-free, vegan. Yeah, 2 are vegan. So what was this one? Oh yeah, vegan and gluten-free. So I guess that's, I'm choosing well. So I'm glad about that. But these are my meals. So I have this today, and I usually leave the meal cards out, and I have the next day what I'm feeling like. So I have these 3 options in my refrigerator. And even today, I thought I was going to make 2. It's like, I'm having 2, but I didn't. I was like, that's just way over the top. I don't even want to. So I just had this one. So that was really, really good. I'm enjoying this, just getting in the sync of it, in the habit of this 1 meal a day. And I'm actually looking forward to weighing on Saturday. I'm hoping that everyone has a scale that has an app link to it where you're getting more than your weight, where you're getting your body water, muscle. Those numbers are important as well. That water really helps monitoring the reduction of inflammation in your body. So that's important. Knowing those numbers, having that log is important. So getting that and weighing. So I'm excited to see. I did weigh, my weigh-in day is Saturday. So I weighed Sunday and I'd released another pound just in that one day. And I could tell. So I hopped on the scale. I was like, wow, I can even tell just in one day. And then I was like, well, I don't want to hop on the scale every day. So I said, I'll wait until Saturday. So looking forward to Saturday's weigh-in. Today's tips, I know we like to do tips and tricks every day. Today's tips, I just want to talk about the benefits of intermittent fasting. I have like a flyaway hair. My stylist, he blow dries my hair, he straightens it. And I like it. Actually, no, I did this. He gets it super straight. Sometimes on my videos, my hair is really, really straight. That's my hairstylist. I like it a little fluffier, so I don't straighten it like that, but have like a little flyaway hair or something. So it was itching above my eye, but I got it. But the intermittent fasting benefits. So decreased insulin levels, which is really good. 4 hours after you eat, your insulin levels. It's never good at whistling. If someone knows how to whistle, please tell me how, leave it in the comments. It's just never good at that. I don't, but that's what your insulin does 4 hours after you eat. So those of you, if your sugar is high, if you're diabetic, that's excellent. So we're only eating once a day. We're spiking our insulin once, and then 4 hours after our insulin goes back to normal, and then it drops from there. When your insulin levels go up, your kidneys retain salt and water. So once it drops, your kidneys release that additional salt and the additional water. So you'll notice that throughout your day. So decreased insulin levels, increased human growth hormone levels. This is what we are looking for. Human growth hormone is the key to slowing the aging process. And I'm really in love with HGH, is what we commonly call human growth hormone. I'm really in love with it right now. It maintains the tissues and cells and organs. It maintains them throughout life. So that's a very important hormone to increase, and intermittent fasting does that naturally. There was a lot of controversy previously about HGH and people taking injections, et cetera, for different reasons. For the weight loss component of it, there were diets that specifically were injecting that in people, but we can get that normally just through intermittent fasting. And once we jump into, if you have approval from your medical provider, once we jump into the water fasting, that's just increased HGH all throughout. So we're just doing everything our body loves, as long as you have that approval from your healthcare provider. Another thing is gene expression. Intermittent fasting affects gene expression in a positive way. So it will turn off genes that are mutated, that it will turn off a gene, for instance, for high blood pressure, and turn on a gene for normal blood pressure. I did that in my own body. It will turn off a gene for high cholesterol and turn on the gene for normal cholesterol. I have a friend who has high cholesterol and gives herself the excuse that she has it because her mom has it. And I said, that's old science. You don't have it because your mom has it. You may have a gene for high cholesterol, but that gene was not turned on when you were born. It took years of eating certain ways and doing certain things and not doing certain things and not eating certain things to turn that gene on. And the good thing about knowing that is you can turn it right back off. And I don't know that she knows it. A lot of people really want the excuse to blame something external from themselves so that they can keep doing what they're doing. But once you know that you've got that kind of power to change those numbers, everything is possible. and sometimes it's the numbers themselves. I went and had my cholesterol checked and it was 60 points higher than the year before. And I knew, I said, there's no way that this is accurate. I knew what I had been eating, how calculated everything I put in my mouth was, and how much in my well-being I had been. And I thought either this guy smudged the number purposely, or they have not calibrated their machines. And I'd just gone to like a CVS to get it checked. So I literally scheduled an appointment. I wanted it still at CVS. I didn't schedule it at the same one because I didn't want to have that same guy because something was off about him. I literally was like, did he do this on purpose? Was he kind of, I don't know. You never know how people are. He literally just wrote the number down and brought it over to me. And then I thought after that whole experience, from now on, I want to see those numbers, oh, it's in that machine. Can I see that? Like, you don't have to go in the corner and then come out. Like, it's just my cholesterol. Let's look at these numbers together. But anyway, if the numbers seem off, go back and have it checked. I literally went back a week later and my cholesterol was normal. And I was like, I knew it. I said, I knew that my cholesterol wasn't high. And I was so concerned. I was like, I'm starting right now. As soon as I saw that number, I literally had started that second with a health plan that would lower cholesterol. And I knew exactly what that was. I knew what season to go into from the Wild Fit program. I knew exactly what to do. And I started at that second. It wasn't one of those, I'll start Monday or I was starting right then. It was that serious. And then I went a week later. I actually, like a couple of days, I was like, cholesterol isn't high. I don't have high cholesterol. I know what I've been eating. I know what it was last year. It was within normal limits. It's either going to be the same or better. It's not going to be higher. It's not possible because of the way I've been eating. And I went back and got the numbers I knew I was going to have. So definitely keep that in mind. Get your numbers, go to a couple of places. And then I was at CVS. I'm like, do they even calibrate their machines? Maybe I should go to like a Quest where they probably have someone who that's their job at CVS. And I don't know CVS, so leave it in the comments if you do know, but maybe they're leaving it up to the PAs to calibrate the machines, and some are and some aren't. That's not, they don't get heavy foot traffic for people getting their biometric screenings. Their heavy foot traffic is probably for other, I don't know, people with a cough or people, getting tests for different things, but probably not biometric screening. So who knows when those machines get calibrated, and they should be calibrated every day. So I didn't believe those numbers and they weren't right. So definitely gene expression is something that works for us positively with intermittent fasting. And it's win-win-win in all of these areas. So I'm really glad that you're here, that you're doing this for yourselves, and that you're doing this for your families, your friends. They will see the difference and they will ask. If you want to share this with them, that's great. But over time, they will start to notice. They'll ask. I mean, people, they see me and they're like, oh my goodness, look at your skin. Look, you just look amazing. What are you doing? And things like that. So, and I'm always excited to share a link to what I'm doing and how I'm sharing this with everyone else. A trick for the week. And this is something that I had to do in order to fit yoga in because it wasn't fitting in. I mean, we're on day 18. I didn't get yoga in until day 16. Yeah, day 16 was the first day of yoga, 16, 17, and then today. So I've done it 3 days. But what I did is I wrote down my 3 priorities. And I'm going to tell you the priorities as I wrote them down. So I wrote down wellness, health, wellness. That was 1. Career and business. So those were the 3 that I wrote down. And then I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, what about marriage, husband? Like that should be in there somewhere. So I said, okay, can I do career and business as 1? Because those are similar. And then add husband as 3. I don't know what I would do in that capacity, but I do want to put that in my subconscious that is on my list of top 3 things. So I told my mom that. I was like, I'd like to be married within the next couple of years. I think that'd be fun. I'm ready to share and have a partner and all of that goodness. So Yeah, but so the top 3 priorities in your life. So write that down, decide what those are. And the reason that's important is because during your work week, that's all you're going to do. So when you have a break, if you take a half-hour break in the morning at work, you're going to work on one of those 3 priorities. You're not going to make a phone call to call a contractor. You're not going to call the cleaning lady. You're not, none of that. You're going to work on those 3, one of those 3 things. So that's how you get your yoga in. And you know, like, hey, this is my work week. This is my Monday through Friday. Anytime I have a break, I'm only working on these 3 things. Some of you, that might be your family, you know, so during that break, working on those 3 things, that your family, your health, your career, that might be what you're doing. And so your health, you take a half-hour break, you're working on your health. And so those 3 things are important. Then what I did is I scheduled a 3-hour block on Fridays during business hours so that I could make personal administrative calls. I don't have a personal assistant anymore. I had to let her go. She was late all the time, but I will get another one. I know exactly now what to do. And it wasn't all her fault. I was giving her correct times and I probably shouldn't have been at first, but she should have been on time too. But so I've got to make those calls for now, personal administrative calls, calling the cleaning lady, calling contractors. I'm remodeling my whole house right now. So this is pretty cool. So what you're seeing in the background will be very different very soon. So that just takes a lot of phone calls and scheduling and things like that. 3 hours is more than enough. I'm like, I'll take 2 hours for my things, an hour for some things that I want to do with my mom. And that 3 hours during business hours is very valuable. What that also does for my mental state, now I'm not putting it off to Saturday. And when I wake up on Saturdays, I meditate, I like to read. I don't want to do administrative work. I don't want to make phone calls on Saturday. I want to just let my mind be free. And so by setting that 3-hour block on Fridays during business hours, I don't have to do it on Saturdays. So that's amazing. So yeah, so do that for yourself. Decide your top 3 priorities. So that's going to be part of your homework, your top 3 priorities, and hoping one of those is health and wellness. And then if you have a couple of 15-minute breaks at work, put those together, take it as one, and then make that your activity break. Boom, you've got your activity in. I like to do my activity in the morning before work. However, right now I'm in Vegas and I just changed my work schedule to where I wake up at 6. I start working at 6 a.m. Before I wasn't starting until 8. So that was super easy. I could do everything in the mornings before 8. But now that I'm starting work at 6 and I meditate for an hour and a half in the mornings. So that just leaves me a half hour. I meditate from 4 to 5:30. I've got a half hour between finishing meditating and working. So, and I know I work from home, but I still get ready. I get dressed. I don't dress up like I'm in an office, but I get dressed. I don't keep on my sleeping clothes, my pajamas. I actually get dressed, get ready for work, make coffee. I have an office. I go into my office. I work in there. Like I don't have a TV on in there. I'm not on TikTok. I literally am focused on work. Like it's the same as if I was at work. I'm just not distracted by colleagues. Well, we message all day, we ping each other. So, but it's not a distraction, that's fun. So writing down the top 3 priorities and seeing if you can use your breaks at work for your activity. And the reason I'm not saying do it during your lunch is because some of you are eating during your lunch. That's your eating window. We want that to be relaxed. I take a nice hour and a half lunch time. I cook my lunch, I prepare it. I mean, it's already measured and cut, but I still have to cook it and then eat it. But I do that, I give that time to myself during lunch. So when I'm doing my activity, that's 2 15-minute breaks. I just stick them together, do that in the morning. So I usually, I work from 6 a.m. until 1. That's like 7 hours. And then during that time, I take that half-hour break for my 20 minutes of yoga. And then at 1, I take an hour and a half break. That's when I prepare lunch, eat lunch, and I get back to work and usually finish by 3:30. I think today, I stayed on until 5. I was just doing some extra thing. I love what I do. I really do. We've just got it's a great company, great people. I really love what I do. So it's like one of those things where I have to make myself stop working. And, I think when I got sick, that was probably part of it, is that I was working too much and my body was like, hey, you got it. You have to give me some time off. And so now I'm really, every day I try to make myself stop working at 3:30. And today it was 5, but I planned that. But I'm also scheduling some time, on Fridays, I'm just going to do 7 hours. So that's really important, is taking that time, give yourself that nice casual hour, hour and a half lunch. If you have the flexibility to set your hours and days, I know that some people have shorter times with their lunch, but if you have that, and everyone, you're able to do this within the schedule that you have created in your life. You can do it regardless of what that is. I'm just sharing with you what mine is. So yeah, writing down the 3 top priorities in your life. What is it that's most important? For me, that health and wellness, that is number 1. That is number 1, because I saw what happened when I didn't have it. I couldn't work. And I love working. I love what I do. I love my career. I love my businesses. So that's important. So writing those 3 things down and finding out where to put in that 20 minutes of activity. I suggest taking your 2 15-minute breaks, stick those together, do your 20 minutes with that. So that is definitely something to put on the table. As far as our homework, of course, you've got writing your top 3 priorities, and you might have to think that through. Like, I literally combined career and business. I'm making husband the 3rd, like getting married within the next 2 to 3 years. And it is something that you really actually need to think about, I think. I don't know, those of you who are married, happily married, truly married to your best friend, like, did you think about it? Did you have the thought? Like, I really feel like I'm finally ready. Before in my life, I really was never ready. I remember my high school sweetheart proposing to me. It was so sweet. We were at a fight, like a boxing match fight. And he's like, let's get married. And it was so much fun. We didn't. I wanted to. He's like, we don't even have to tell anyone. Let's just go get married. I so would have. But then I thought, no, because I didn't think it would work, because we were just in love. But we were growing apart. I went away to college. He didn't. And I just knew that I could tell, like, it just wasn't going to work. And I didn't want to be divorced. So I didn't, but I was like, ooh, I was just thinking about it. I was like, ooh, we could go get married. Like, he's like, come on, that'll be fun. Let's go get married. So, but we didn't do it. We didn't go get married. The thought was there, but we didn't do it. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. So yeah, so definitely thinking about your pause. So definitely doing your homework, coffee or tea, then water, and then your meal. So keeping that in mind, coffee or tea, then water, and then your meal. So that is part of your homework as well, your 3 priorities. And mine, yes, 1 is marriage, or keeping the thought. That's what I want to do, the thought of it, keeping the thought that is in my list of 3. And coffee or tea in the mornings, then water until your meal. You can, again, be more flexible with what you're drinking after your meal. Like, when I went up to work, my mom was like, oh, you didn't bring your water, because it was after I had eaten lunch. And I was like, oh, that's because I just had lunch, so I get to have juice. So I was super excited about it. But again, this is organic, it's cold pressed, and this is just orange juice, pineapple, mango, apple, and aceola. So that's what's in there. If you're going to drink juices, get the cold pressed and organic. It has the nutritive and digestive enzymes are still intact when it's cold pressed. Once you heat something above 113 degrees, it kills that. And so you are getting fewer vitamins and minerals, and the digestive enzymes are no longer there. If you eat a raw product, which this is raw, it goes into your stomach. And when food sits in the top of your stomach for 30 minutes to an hour, it just sits there. But if it's raw, it starts to digest itself while it's there in the top part of your stomach. If it's not raw, it just sits there. And then when it drops to the lower part, that's where the juices mix in, and then the foods digest. So that's an advantage of eating raw foods in general. So if a lot of you are incorporating raw foods or have a meal a day a week where you're doing a raw meal, that's another advantage to it. More nutrients and easy to digest. Your body doesn't have to do the work digesting because the digestive enzymes are intact, so that digestion happens while in your body. So that's a good thing about raw food. I love raw foods, raw diets. My body just thrives on it. I did 5 months where I was strict raw, and it was amazing. I actually only got off because I got sick and I wanted warm soup. And literally after I got off, that's when I realized, oh, wow, I could have actually had soup and just heated it up to like 108 degrees. It would have still been warm, but that was fine. It was probably time to incorporate. I think that that's something that you'll learn in the Snap Back Body Wild program, is that it's good to do different restrictive diets for an amount of time. When you're doing it forever, there are usually entire nutrition groups that you're missing. And so, but doing it for a short period can be really beneficial for your body. And so that's something that we learned all about in the Snapback Body Wild program, and the founder teaches those. So once you sign up, you will have access. It's a 90-day program. There's a video every day. It's the founder talking, teaching us this content. I love these videos. It's amazing. So I'm the coach. So 3 times a week we'll meet. We'll talk as a group. You'll get to meet your teammates and we'll go through it together. I'm going to go through the plan again with the class, the entire plan. So there are a couple of things I'm not going to do just because I've already eliminated that stuff, but I will go through the plan as the class does. So check that out on snapbackbodywild.com. There's a link. And again, there's a 50% discount because you're a part of this challenge. As for your yoga, 20 minutes of yoga in the morning, stick those 2 15-minute breaks together and put your yoga in there. That is going to be hugely beneficial for you. So hoping you are going to take advantage of that to maximize you. Remember to weigh in every week, same time, same day, same place. That is of the utmost importance. You want to make sure you took your pictures. We are at day 18. You don't want to go past this point without having those pictures, because as we go through these 30 days, and you're really gonna have wanted these pictures. I can just tell when I put my clothes on, I'm like, wow, I can tell. I know that I weighed one day and then weighed the next day. There was a pound difference in one day. So definitely making sure you're getting that done. Same day, same place, same time. And that just means keep your scale in the same place, weigh at the same time of day. I like to weigh, and I think it's better to weigh in the mornings before I eat. I sleep with a glass of water by my bed. I love water. I sleep with a glass of water by my bed. And so I usually drink that when I wake up, just when I'm thirsty, but I will weigh myself even before I have coffee. I just think that's important. So get up, go to the bathroom, weigh yourself, and then celebrate. Remember, we are day 31, 32, and 33. We're prepping for a water fast. So if you're wanting to do that with you, you gotta get your permission from your healthcare provider. That's super important. It's just, everyone is different. Every body is different. So this is what I'm doing. If you want to jump in, you gotta have your okay from your healthcare provider. So that's important. And again, I just want to remind you of our beautiful quote for today. As you start to walk on the way appears. It appears. You just have to do one step and then you'll get the idea for the next and the next. So the way appears. Leap in the net will appear. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Simone Simpson from Wondering Yoga Cafe Entertainment. I will see you tomorrow. Intermission is over.